Welcome back. Welcome back to ResolveCon. Welcome back. Hey, I'm so glad you're here. You know what we're going to do now? We're going to thank our sponsors for helping make sure that ResolveCon is a thing that we could do. That's right. Blackmagic Design. Thank you so much. DV Resolve, Motion VFX, Whip Templates, and Pixel Tools. You guys are amazing. Thank you for sponsoring this and making it possible. So wonderful. Guys, just a reminder, at Ground Control, we have a 25% off sale. So we do courses on Fusion and DaVinci Resolve. Groundcontrol.film, use coupon code GC25, RC25GC, and get 25% off any course. Isn't that awesome? Yeah. Another reminder, make sure that you're registered for the giveaways because we're going to be doing another giveaway right after this session. Okay? All right. Speaking of this session, our next presenter is just a beam of sunshine. She is wonderful. Let's bring her on, shall we? Let's get her on here. Hi, Chloe. How you doing?
Hi. Hi. Hey, guys. I'm quite excited to be here.
Yeah, we're excited to have you here. Well, hey, if you guys don't know, Chloe, Frenchy Color, is a very talented professional colorist, and she's here to show us all kinds of amazing things in the color page. And I'm so excited to learn from you. Every time I watch one of your videos, I learn something new. And I'm excited for you to download that wisdom onto our audience here.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
I hope that you are... Oh, sorry. I think I have...
I was just going to say, go for it.
Okay, perfect. So, hey, guys. So, if you don't know me, I am Chloe, mostly known as Frenchy Color Grading here on the internet. So I do some YouTube tutorials on color grading, but also I do some color grading tips on my YouTube channel. And also, on the side, I am a professional colorist. So it's more the other way around. I'm a professional colorist first, and I do some YouTube videos on the side. So today I want to talk about the must-have grading looks that bring my clients back, because I think this is something that can be quite valuable for you guys, even if you are not a colorist. So I presented a bit myself, but why I'm doing this subject, it's because I worked with brands like Honda, Audi, Swatch, Victoria's Secret, Riot Games, etc., etc. And my clients are coming mostly from Europe, Asia, and the United States. And I've seen coming in and out my grading suite, multiple profiles of clients that are coming from low budget commercials to high-end commercials. So then, because I'm gathering so much data, and also because I am having a YouTube channel, there's a lot of people that ask me how I get my jobs and how I get my clients. And so I always answer to this question that the client servicing is actually the best. And what a colorist can deliver as the best client servicing, it's not the good coffee, it's a good grade, because the grades are it is your arsenal. It is your artwork, and you are selling this. So then also, for those who don't know me, I put in my description that I am the owner of the wonderful Patat. And I just put this because last year I could integrate Patat in my presentation of ResolveCon. But this year I couldn't find a way to integrate Patat. So you're going to see Patat. So Patat is wonderful. Patat is amazing. So this is my rabbit. I love her very much. And she made it to ResolveCon 2025. Yes. Thank you, guys. So we can move on then. I'm going to share with you the looks that keep my clients coming back, because these looks are, for me, like from the data I gathered from my clients, these looks are the most requested from my clients. And I think this is useful for you to understand these looks. Also, even if, for example, you are not a colorist, even like if you are just an editor, I think this presentation is good for you because let's say you have a commercial to edit, and because of budget reason, you will have to go to the color grading stage. If the client is requesting this kind of look to you, then now you can answer positively to these people and have a great relationship with your client. So before also we jump into the core of it, I really want to frame what is important in commercial color grading, because commercial color grading is an art form in itself, because it's very different from film color grading. Commercial color grading, you need to understand where the client is coming from, and the client is wanting to have an image where everything is readable because they're going to have their product inside this image. So most of the time when a client is coming to me, they're going to ask for a clean look. And so then that means that we're going to have to create a grade where we're going to identify every detail possible in the frame. Also, they're going to ask me, because of the clean look, they're going to ask me to raise the brightness of the image, because also it is in the same logic as identifying everything in the frame. Also, brightness is for the client showing an image of premium. You know, it's premium, it's expensive, and it feels nice for the eye. So it's always this kind of request. And also I added for me and for myself to be always safe in the shadows and the highlights, because your commercials going to be broadcasted on so many devices. And so these devices will be so different. You have TVs, of course, but the TVs are quite different between brands. And also you have social campaigns. So then you have social media campaigns where you're going to have some people watching your commercial on a laptop or a smartphone. So that's why we have to be extremely safe with the shadows and the highlights. So then my clients then will come and ask me these three looks. I just like made these big categories of look because it's always this kind of look that comes out. So you have first of all the luxury look that will apply to luxury commercials. So let's say you have a bag, clothes, or an expensive car. So this would apply for this category of commercials. You have the cinematic look, which is a sort of a commercial that will actually apply to everything that wants to be authentic. So let's say you can have a clothing brand or just a brand that wants to be more lifestyle. So you're going to apply this kind of look on the commercial. And you have the pop commercial look, which is actually the commercial look that is the most used for us, because this is what is making your brain even more excited, because there's so many colors and very stimulating for your eyes. So let's just tackle the first look, which is the luxury look. And after, we're going to break it down together. Don't worry. Also, I didn't mention, I've done a breakdown of these looks on my YouTube channel. But for these looks on the YouTube channel, I used my LUTs from my LUT pack. So for this presentation, it's going to be only with Resolve tools. We're just going to use Resolve tools. We won't use any tool outside of it because I really want to break down everything for you. So let's just come back to our presentation. And so the luxury look is a look that is all about control contrast because we still want to see the details in the shadows, creamy highlights, and warm midtones. And why warm midtones is very important? It's because the advantage of warm midtones is that you can have a very nice skin tone that will come out of it, and that would actually be pleasant for the eye. So I would recommend for the luxury look to always start with a clean base. So always try to white balance your image first. So because when you have a clean base, it's going to be easier for you to then have identify all the elements in the frame, and so then make a stylized look after it. Also, you have to make sure that the look is a low contrast look. Most of the time, the luxury looks are low contrast because we want to retain the softness in the shadows and the softness in the highlights. Because if you do something a bit too harsh, it's going to be quite heavy on the image, and we really want actually to feel the luxury out of the frame. So that is why it's a bit more preferred to have a low contrast or soft contrast out of the image. We also want a low saturation because most of the time when you go towards low saturation, it is something that is preferred for the luxury look, as like it will feel straight away more expensive. And like when you have too much saturation in the frame, you're gonna be too overstimulated as a person watching the ad. So we don't really want that. We want the calm, the expensiveness, everything, right? And the last guideline is to make sure that your talent looks great, because the talent will represent the brand inside the commercial. So it can be a talent that will wear the clothes of the brand, that will wear the bag of the brand, or that will drive the car of the brand. So that is why we need the talent to look amazing. So we're going to have to work on the face of the talent and also on the skin tone of the talent. So here you have some example, and we're going to just break it down just right after this. But you have some example of the luxury look, so of the grades I've done. So this one is a very good example of the clean base because you have every element identifiable in the frame. We see the background, we see the car, we see the character. Here it's a bit more a great example of the soft contrast because we don't have a harsh light that is coming on her face, and we still retain the glow of the skin over here. And this one is obviously like a very extreme example of the desaturation, because you can see everything is desaturated around her, but it still feels expensive. So let's break it down together. Okay, I'm just gonna make a bit of real estate and show you how we can do it together. Okay, so before I start anything, I'm just going to show you my color management. We are in a Timeline Color Space DaVinci Wide Gamut. This is just for your information. You can do it in a Rec 709 color space. I am going from an ARRI Wide Gamut to a DaVinci Wide Gamut, and I am outputting DaVinci Wide Gamut to Rec 709 Gamma 2.4. Okay, so let's just start with the first node, and my first node would be a white balance. So I told you that this is very important to do a clean grade first. So what we're going to do is that we're going to try to identify what's going on in our image, and you can use actually your scope to see what's going on. And you can see that we have a lot of green that is coming out from the highlights. So to just try to compensate that, I'm just going to go to my RGB mixer over here, click here, and I'm going to compensate my green. So you can remove some green if you want, okay? And you can add some blue, I would say. Something like this, 102 here, and I would just reduce a tiny bit more the red just to have a balanced image. So of course, you know, like on my scope, I have the blue that is coming out quite a lot, but I am seeing my monitor over here and I find it balanced. So of course, you know, refer to your scopes. At the same time, trust your calibrated monitor, okay? So now that we have this and everything is balanced, I'm just going to go to the light node. So I put light. I could have put light balance actually. This is where you're going to do your light ratio. And I'm going to go to my HDR wheel. And as what Darren demonstrated, I'm going to try to open up my image with my global wheel over here. Okay, so I raise a bit my global wheel here. So it raises it in a photometric way, which is pretty nice, but I'm losing a bit of contrast and a bit of punch. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to go to my color wheels here, and I'm going to go to my lift, and I like to just use the luminance of my lift over here. So I just go down at -1, and we retain a bit of contrast. So you can see that is with before we open up our image. This is after. This is just a bit. I can open up a tiny bit more, I would say. Let's just open up to 50, and you can see this is before, this is after. Okay, so now what is the real issue with our image when we see our image? We have a bit of an issue because our talent is actually mixing a tiny bit too much with the background. She doesn't pop out that much. So how can I do this? Of course, I could raise the contrast to make her pop out, but I won't do this because I want to keep a very low contrast look. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to use my hues, and I'm going to go to my color wrapper, chroma wrap. I'm going to select behind her the wall, and you're going to see I'm going to change the color of the wall over here, like that. So I'm going to go towards a hue that is around like a blue, metallic blue, something like this, because I like that, you know, the blue is not too saturated, but because we are adding another color, we are creating separation. And I'm going to do, you know, I'm just going to try to fix her skin because I find that she's a bit towards green. And for this, I can change my scopes and go to vector scope to verify my skin tone line. And you can see, and this is a great example, guys, you can see that my skin tone is actually pretty well on the skin tone line, but she feels a tiny bit green for my eyes. Maybe for you it's great, but she feels a bit green. I find that the undertone is not going well. So you're going to see that if I try to move her skin like that towards magenta to something that I find that is pretty, natural, I would say, my skin tone line will be completely off, And so then this is a great example for the skin tone line. You see the skin tone line, you can refer to the skin tone line, but don't try 100% to match the skin tone line because you can have very weird skin that can come out if, for example, you don't have the right undertone of the skin. Okay? So now that I have this and I have a better, separation of my talent, and we can see her a bit more, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to work this soft contrast and this soft highlights. So then we can go to this node, and I'm going to use the new tool that DaVinci Resolve released in the 20.1 called Color Tone. So Color Tone Diffuser, you go to the effect and you tap Color Tone Diffuser over here, you drag it, you drop it. So color tone diffuser is a way for us to recreate the filter that you put in front of the lens of your camera. So this filter would be most of the time Pro Mist or Glimmer Glass. It's used to diffuse the light and soften sometimes the contrast, make a sort of an effect that is already applied on set. And also you have the possibility with the color tone diffuser to apply some filters that behave like a gel that you put in front of your camera, a color gel. So it is pretty great for us. And we're going to enjoy the new tool to make our soft contrast. So I'm going to go to the color tone diffuser, go to presets, and I'm going to try to see what kind of preset I like. And honestly, I would go as a base as a low contrast, because after we can just rearrange it together. But low contrast is something that I want to start with. Okay, so I'm going to go to diffusion, and diffusion would be diffusion of the light. You're going to see if I move my diffusion like this, you can see that you're going to have a softer diffusion of the light, and the light would bleed a bit more in the frame. So I'm just going to add a tiny bit more diffusion, and I can just move a bit the radius to see what I like. And I like doing this because it adds a tiny bit of glow to the talent and help our viewer to focus on the talent. After, we have shadow soft clip, and you're going to see shadow soft clip is a bit what we had already in the curves. This is technically muting your blacks. I'm just going to switch on the waveform so then I see what I'm doing. But you're going to mute your black a bit more when you are moving your shadow clip, and it can create a pretty good effect. Now, I'm going to see what I can do with the highlight soft clip, and the highlight soft clip is for you to just, move your highlights. I find that it's muting a tiny bit too much my highlights, so I won't keep it, but this could be a good tool to clean up your highlights if you need to. Now we're going to go to the tone lights, and the tone lights are actually what we're going to use to recreate the sort of a color gel that you put in front of your lens. So if you see, if I raise the intensity at its max and I move my channel of red, my channel of green, my channel of blue, I'm going to have a sort of an effect that will happen on my footage, because it's kind of like I put a filter, a color filter in front of it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is that I'm going to just try to move a bit my red. What I really want to do is that I want to remove some green. Okay, I remove some green, and I stay with my red like this, because then I have something that is a bit more delimited. And I'm going to reduce a tiny bit the intensity to have an image that is coming back a tiny bit more, and less how you call that, less muted. Okay, so now we have our tone lights. Everything is great. I'm going to go to my tone light fall off, and the tone light fall off, to be short, is that it's going to take in consideration the tone lights, and it's going to just create a sort of a fall off on it and create a vignette around your character. So what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to move a tiny bit my fall off to see what is the sweet spot, not the sweet spot, but the sweet spot, but yes, so I think that this amount of fall off is nice, and I won't touch it anymore. Here also you have the exposure, the contrast, and the saturation that are done in a photometric way. We won't stay too much on it, but it's pretty good if you want to, do some quick adjustments. Here, I think I am fine with that. I like actually the look of it. And you can see that this is before our color tone diffuser, and this is after our color tone diffuser. Just notice how soft the shadows are, and also like how like bloomy our highlights are. And I pretty like this look. Okay, so now that we've done the soft contrast, the white balance, what did we do? The low saturation also. We can do the talent. So we're gonna just focus on the talent, and you can see that our talent actually is a bit in the shadows, right? We want to raise her face, and we want her face to be a bit more noticeable. So I'm going to go to my windows, and I'm going to create a power window around her face, like this, like that, like that. And I'm going to raise the softness to its maximum. I'm going to go to my HDR wheels over here, and I'm going to go to my menu, go to gamma, and go to linear. So for this, I'm just going to explain to you really quickly, is that I change my wheels to linear behavior. And I like this effect on relighting faces because I find it pretty natural. And you're going to see when I'm going to raise my light, I'm going to have something that is quite strong, but natural. So this is before, this is after. I pretty like this. I'm just going to reduce it to maybe 0.07, before, after, lovely. Now we have to take care of our talent face. And for this, what we're going to do is that we're going to use the face refinement. I'm going to go and type face refinement and drop it, but I didn't drop it on the node. I drop it next to the node, sorry. And I'm going to detect the face and track the face. Okay, so our face is tracked. And I can add a bit of beauty, but the beauty automatic here is not so necessary because she is flawless already, so it's pretty nice. But what I'm going to do is that I'm going to use the shine removal because she has a lot of shine that is happening on her face. So you can see when I'm going to raise the amount of shine removal, I'm going to have more muted highlights on her face and something that is a bit more controlled on her face, and she doesn't feel too sweaty, which is pretty good for luxury commercial. Also, because of the lighting, she has quite a harsh shadow that is happening on her face. And for this, in AI face refinement, we have a very useful tool that is in it that is called the side lighting. And so what it's doing essentially is that it's going to recreate the light on the side of the face and move the light on the side of the face. So you can make the shadows more dramatic or softer. And so for this, I'm going to use the gamma left because I find that with gamma, I have a more natural result, and I'm going to raise a tiny bit. And you can see this is before, this is after the face refinement, and it does wonders. And this is all, guys, actually. We just finished our luxury look. Look at this. It looks super expensive. So here, what essentially we've done is that we've done a low saturation grade, plus we've done a clean base, and also a soft contrast look. Sorry, I'm trying to find my words. And also we took care of our talent. So this is very, very, very important. Now that we've seen our luxury look, we're gonna go to the cinematic look. And so the cinematic look is a look where we're gonna let the image breathe. We want to not adjust as much as possible the image, because the thing that we want to convey with our commercial is that we want to be authentic and we want to be close to the customer. So technically, it's going to be ads that want to be genuine. There's ads that want to be more documentary style. And so then my advice with that is less is more, because the more you are adjusting the image, the more the less actually true you are of the image, and it can be quite detrimental for your image and be a bit too artificial. Also, I would suggest to put a subtle film look, because anyway, the cinematic look, and this is in the name, is about cinematic. And when we talk about cinematic, we always actually mean film emulation or film print. So then you can put a film emulation or film print, but it needs to be very subtle, because don't forget, we are still in a commercial, we are not in a film. So that is why you can apply a subtle film look, just be very subtle. And I will also suggest to add a slight split tone to it, because the split tone would add a kick to your commercial without missing too much with the shadows and highlights. But it needs to stay very slight. So that is why we're going to break it down together. Okay, so just before we are going to our footage, this is an example of cinematic looks. So you see, I stayed very authentic to the image. There is not a lot of modification. Basically, it's like putting a film emulation and just enhancing our frame out of it, because the cinematography is also helping us to make our grade beautiful. So let's say I'm taking this footage over here and I want to make a cinematic look. So first, I'm going to do my white balance. Okay, so we're going to go back to our RGB mixer. I see that there's a bit of blue going on. I go down with my blue like this, and I'm going to add some red. And what is great with that is that we can have a bit of warmth coming out of the image, which is great because we're going to use it at our advantage. So let's go back to our favorite tool in the 20.1, which is the color tone diffuser. So let's go back to the color tone diffuser. Okay, color tone diffuser. Just drop it, and we're going to make a very soft look out of it, because look at this image, guys. It doesn't need that much grading. Like, it is beautiful in itself. So we just need to enhance that. Okay, so I'm just going to go and try the presets. And I like strong start because also I have a bit of magenta going in the skin. So diffusion, I think I would let it this way. I think I'm quite satisfied with it. Shadow soft clip is the same. What for the tone light, what I would like for the tone light is creating even more warmth with it. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to take my blue and I'm going to remove my blue, and you're going to see that we're going to get very warm, but also very green. So what I'm going to do is also removing some green to get some red back. Okay, like that. And I'm pretty satisfied with it. So you can see this is before, this is after. Very warm, pretty nice for the eye. I'm going to go to my tone light fall off, and I'm just going to try to raise a tiny bit this, not raise, but decrease the softness to have a bit more face coming out, and just have something that is a bit nicer. Yes, something like this. I think it is pretty good enough. Also, I want to add a tiny bit more saturation to my grade, because then it will help my delimitation. I mean, not my delimitation, but my color separation. So I'm going to do this, add a tiny bit of saturation, and this is way enough. After this, because we need a film emulation, it's not that we need a film emulation. I could actually make a film grade, a cinematic look this way, just like with a color tone diffuser and with some tools. But because we would like to maybe put a film emulation, but we only want to do with the Resolve tool. Resolve has one plugin that also Darren presented to you, and it's the Film Look Creator. So the Film Look Creator is not putting a film emulation per se, but it is putting, like an imitation, of a film look. And so I find that what they do is actually pretty good. So I would keep this. I would keep actually the preset and everything that is done. We won't go over the Film Look Creator. But I'm just going to put the default 65 millimeter. But you see that for a commercial, it's a very strong look, like very, very strong. So what I'm just going to do is that I'm going to go to color blend, and I'm going to go to something like 20%. So you can see this is before, this is after. Okay, we are pretty okay with that. For the moment, we're good. After, I'm going to go to the split tone node. And actually, this node, I would have loved to do it with the Split Tone Pro from Pixel Tools, because I love this DCTL. It's lovely. But as we want to do everything inside Resolve, Resolve luckily released a split tone OFX that come with the 20.1. I could have done, actually, I just realized I could have done it with the Film Look Creator, but let's just separate everything, right? So let's go to split tone, drop it, and now we have a very strong split tone that is happening on the frame. We won't keep it like this, guys. What we want to do is that we want to reduce the strength of it and move a bit the pivot to have something that is a bit more natural. I'm going to move my hue angle because I don't want that much green happening on my image, like that. And I will just have something like this. Yes. Okay. I think this is good. What also I'm just saying is that maybe we are a bit too warm. So I'm going to go back to my color tone, and I'm going to go to my blue and just decrease the blue to retain some of the natural skin tones and natural elements in the frame. And also in the green, I'm just going to remove a tiny bit more the green, like this. Yeah, and remove a bit of the intensity. And now, like, we have something that looks pretty nice. So you can see this is our 3 nodes. So we just have the white balance here, and this is the color tone diffuser, the Film Look Creator, and the split tone OFX. So now we can finish our look with a very slight vignette, actually. And to do a vignette, it's very simple. You go to Window, you just like create a power window around her. If you don't see it, you can go to your menu here and go to Power Windows. And we're just going to create a shape around her face. And what I'm going to do is that I'm going to raise her face with our technique, which is the linear HDR wheels, like that. And then I'm going to right click on my node, and I'm going to go to add node to add outside. And add outside node will help us to just take everything outside of our shape that we did on this node. Okay, so I'm just going to go to my curves. I'm going to create a point, and I'm going to go down with my point. And you can see this is without my vignette, and this is with my vignette. Without my vignette and with my vignette. And you can see that like we have way more focus on her in a very natural way. And this is our cinematic look, guys. It looks pretty nice, and I find that it is very stylized. And I like also that we have some goldish highlights that are coming in on her. It's lovely, really lovely. After this, we have the pop look. And so the pop look is the one that is the most asked in commercials. It needs to be saturated, punchy, but by saturated and punchy, we still want to be in control of the image. So I advise to always have some color separation. So the color separation is done, of course, with a clean base. So actually, on all the commercials, I mean, all the looks I showed you for commercials, you need a clean base. So that's for sure. But the color separation can also be done with an image that you can slightly go colder than your clean base. So if you've done your white balance neutral, you can go a bit colder to create a bit more separation. Sometimes it works. And I would suggest for the pop look to always choose 3 colors maximum in your frame to make them pop. Why I say that, it's because if you are saturating all your frame, all the colors will clash together. The problem is that, and it's not readable at all for your viewer. So what I suggest is that you choose in the frame 3 colors you want to focus on, and then you saturate them. So let's just see what some examples, and after we're going to break it down together. So here, I chose the pink, I chose her skin tone, and I chose the neon over here. So you can see you have quite a big delimitation of the colors in the frame. And I didn't over-saturated everything. It's just all these 3 colors, and everything looks pretty poppy. It's the same here. Actually, it's even more obvious. You have the blue library, you have the t-shirts, and you have his skin tone, where like you permit the eye to really focus on the character. Okay, so let's just do it together. And for this, I'm going to start with my white balance, and you start to know the song. we're just gonna do our white balance, and what I want to do is also go a bit colder. So I'm going to put a lot of blue output. So you can see we came from this, which is very warm and green, to this, which is blue and a bit more magenta. And don't worry, guys, we're going to clean this up after. But by going to something colder, it creates a bit more separation already from the get-go. So here, this is our light balance. So we're just going to go to our global wheel in the HDR wheels, like this. And we're going to compensate that with our primary wheels and our lift, like that. Okay, so now there are some problems. Oh, I would say that actually, sorry, before we fix the image, we're just going to add a bit of color boost, because I find that everything is a bit muted. So I'm just adding a color boost in global. So the color boost instead of the saturation is pretty good, because it will in priority saturate the colors that are basically low saturation first. So then it's going to be a bit better for your image, and it's going to make your image a bit more even. Okay, so now we're just going to fix the highlights, because you can see that the light is very harsh on him, and it's making his face quite cooked. So I'm going to go to my HDR wheels, and I'm going to tone down my lights like this to minus 0.28. You can see, so this is before, this is after. And I'm going to tone down my highlights. And you can see this is before, this is after. It's perfect. Okay, I am good with this. Okay, now we have to choose which kind of colors we want to make to make pop inside our image. And so you can see that we have a red wall, we have a blue jumper, and we have a yellow jumper. And so then I'm going to focus on the blue jumper, the yellow jumper, and the red wall for my image, because I don't think that, having them having a very strong and saturated skin tone will help the image, but their outfit can be pretty useful. So I'm going to go to my chroma wrap, go in, and I'm going to select the blue for the blue shirt. And what I'm going to do is that I'm going to go towards cyan, because what is good is that if, for example, you have the blue jumper here, it's very close to the red wool behind him because it has some red undertones. Whereas if you move your jumper to something that is a bit further in terms of color, we're gonna have a bit more separation happening. And it's the same for the yellow jumper, because the yellow jumper, you can see, is actually pretty warm, and so then like would blend more easily with the red wool. So what I'm going to do is going towards something completely contrary, so something like that is a bit more yellower and a bit more greener, to have like a more citrusy color, and she's gonna then be way more separated from the background. Now that we have done this, I can go to density, and I can go to our color slice. And what I'm going to do is, normally, you see people on the internet that put more density on clothes or on colors. I'm going to do this contrary, actually. I'm just going to add some light to it so you can see. So this is before, this is after. And we're going to make the color even more popping with a raise of exposure. And it's going to be the same for our jumper over here. I'm just going to go to the cyan and go down with the density, and with the blue, and go down like that over here. So you can see this is before, this is after. Okay. Now, to finish our look, the pop look must be always very bright. And so you can see that this is the same problem that we have, because we have a very harsh light that is coming in. We have the faces that are a bit buried in the shadows. So same thing as the other grades that we were doing. We're going to go to the windows. We're going to go to power window, just create a shape around their face, soften everything up, go to HDR wheels, go to gamma, linear, and then raise their faces like that. Okay, now that this is done, you can see this is before, this is after. It's pretty nice, right? We are really like, we are DPs. No, actually, don't say that to your DP. Just say that you enhance their lighting, please. Don't invent the lights in the frame. And to finish our look, we can create a vignette. And so for this, we go to Windows. We go to our power window over here. Just create a window around them like that. Yeah, this is a very nice couple. And I want to select everything outside of my window. And so for this, I'm going to go and click this button that will select everything around. And I'm going to go to my curves, click, create a point, and go down with the curves. And so you can see this is before, this is after. And this is how you get a pop look, guys. So I hope that everything was useful for you, and I hope that you can get something out of this presentation, and that it could save you for some jobs. And yeah, just let me know if you have any questions.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Chloe. You are just a treasure trove of information about getting those specific looks. That was wonderful. Thank you so much. We do have some questions from chat. Ravikant asks, what do you use for videos going out only to the web? I have heard many people do Gamma 2.2. This question has got me conflicting and mixed responses on the colorists subreddit too.
Yes. So of course, for me, I would suggest to you to always deliver in Rec 709 Gamma 2.2 because this Rec 709 is a Rec 709 that is standard, and it's dedicated for web delivery. I think you are asking this question because maybe you're having a Mac. Because most of the time, if you are a PC user, you wouldn't have this question. So I would suggest you to not use the Rec 709A, just because in my own experience, I had some problem with it in the past with some crush shadows and crush gamma. So I would suggest to actually always deliver in Rec 709 Gamma 2.2, even for delivery on the internet. If you really want to deliver in Rec 709A, it has to be played on a QuickTime viewer and can't actually be played with other viewers than QuickTime because it's made for QuickTime. So if you want to deliver a Rec 709A just for viewing purposes on QuickTime, do it. But otherwise, Rec 709 Gamma 2.2 for web deliveries.
Great. Wonderful. Robin Tate asks, how long do you spend on any given node? And what obstacles or issues would obligate you to decide to spend more time to a given node?
Actually, it really depends. And that's actually a very good question because, of course, I could say to you, oh, when I was a beginner, I was spending many hours on one node just to tweak everything and stuff.
Right.
But also with my experience now, I spend way less time with nodes because I've gathered some knowledge and I gathered some technique and repetition over and over and over again. So now it's more like if I spend some time on one node, it is because I need to fix something and I need to also do something very specific. Otherwise, I will always try to do global nodes. So that means that I will try to move primaries to create my looks. To have less work possible in my grade and to keep my image as authentic as possible, because I also want to respect what the director of photography has done on set. So I won't spend that much time actually on a node. Instead of it needs some fixing, like light fixing or some special effect that actually the production house is asking me to do, etc., etc.
Okay. Ann Boyer asks, will all these tips work for my crappy mobile phone videos of my boyfriend and animals?
Yeah, I think it will work because okay.
We asked the
That's
real
amazing.
questions here, guys.
Yeah, exactly. Just ask these questions. So if you are doing some video shoots of your perfect family and your dog with your phone, I would say that these techniques also apply if you want to try them, because it's very global. Like it's made for everyone to actually take it and then apply it on their footage. The only thing that changed actually is that you won't have to convert your footage from a log state to a Rec 709 stage. That's all.
Okay. Question from Sebastian Colorist says, what was the thing with the quote nugget to pull the contrast down, color boost up? Question mark.
Oh, you saw my color grading nugget. Oh, that's cool. That's good. Thank you. So I can show you right now. We can just see it on my node. I'm just going to create a node after this. So let's say I go down with my contrast. To compensate me going down with my contrast, I'm going to raise the color boost. So by raising the color boost, you can see, so let's just add a bit more contrast, but by raising the color boost, you create more color separation. Then it keeps your grade quite believable, because if I don't put the color boost, then my contrast, my lack of contrast is going to be really noticeable here, right? I can actually maybe do it when I do my I do my balance here. Maybe it's going to be a bit more noticeable. So let's say I raise my contrast, you're going to see then it crushes a tiny bit more my colors and things like that. So I'm going to reduce my color boost to compensate and have something that is a bit more believable. So you can see, so this is before, this is after, you see. So same. Then, like what I was saying, you remove the contrast, then you add a bit more color boost to just compensate everything. It's just that. So this is like, this is what I was applying when I was a beginner. And I find that it always works well. So if, for example, you want to keep a very consistent result, if you remove some contrast, add a bit of color boost, and if you are adding if you add some contrast, then you remove a bit of color boost. But this is only for the contrast in the primaries, because the contrast in the HDR wheels is not behaving the same way. So it's only if you are using the contrast in the primaries.
Okay. Last question comes from Hajpek. If you had to choose a low budget display, what would it be?
You mean device? Yeah. So you mean like a low budget screen, right?
Like a monitor, yeah.
Yes. Oh, I think like what I really like in terms of low budget monitor is Asus ProArt. It's just like because I have more knowledge in the Asus ProArt range.
Mm-hmm.
So Asus ProArt, the PA279CV was my UI screen before, but also I was bringing it to a color grading session with production houses, like when I had to travel with it, because it's a 27-inch, and it's quite low cost, but does really well the job, I find, for the price. And you can also check on the BenQ screens, because the BenQ screens are quite good. I think I don't really have a lot of experience with it, but I heard quite a lot of good things for the low cost options. And of course, if, for example, right now you really don't have the budget for a screen and you want to wait and gather some money, just use your iPad calibrated, because the iPads are most of the time quite a quite well calibrated screen. You just need to maybe calibrate it like with how you say, like a Color Bright or a Kalman display thing, just to make sure that everything is right. But I think this is like the very low cost solution if you can't spend any money in a monitor.
Great. Okay. That's all the questions that I have so far.
Cool.
Thank you so
nice.
much, Chloe. Guys, give it up.
Yeah, that was a pleasure.
Chloe. We really appreciate you coming on. Thank you for being here and sharing that wonderful knowledge with the community. Appreciate you so much. And
Thank
please
you,
pet
guys.
that bunny for me. Please pet that bunny.
Oh, wait, I will pet that for you.
All the pets.
Don't worry. I will say hi. I will say hi.
Thank you. Great day. That's all right. All right. We're going to be, it's time to give away stuff, you guys. Here we go. Giveaway number 4 today. So from Pixel Tools, we have the Hue Shift Pro DCTL pack. That is going to James Sirigliano. To Ron, you are now the new owner of the Prime Grade DCTL from Pixel Tools. Thank you so much, Pixel Tools. And the winner of the $100 Motion VFX store credit goes to Trevor Hughes, part of the GC community. So cool seeing the the ground control team show up here. It's so cool. Thank you so much for being here. So congratulations to all the winners. And again, if you have not yet registered, you guys, what are you waiting for? Click the link in the description below. Get your name and email plugged in so that you can win some of this amazing stuff provided by our sponsors this year at ResolveCon. Also, this year, want to make sure you guys are getting involved with the VIP classes. Those are happening on Saturday and Sunday. These are not going to be streamed live. They are going to be done in a more private way, and you can get them by clicking the link in the description. Make sure you get your seat because they're going fast. And if you're looking for maybe some more Resolve education, look no further than going to groundcontrol.film. Using coupon code RC25GC will get you 25% off of any course. There, you guys, there's some amazing stuff there. And that's just not me being biased. That's just me being real. We're going to take a quick break here to get some things set up for our next presenter, the lovely, the wonderful Jason Yadlovsky, the audio guru himself, talking about Fairlight mixing for beginners. If you are just getting into the sonic space using Fairlight and DaVinci Resolve, you guys are not going to want to miss this. While we're gone, make sure you check out the VIP tickets. We will see you here in a little bit. Don't go anywhere. Bye-bye.